All right. Good morning, everybody. We're here for our weekly Marion County Board of Commissioners meeting. It is Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. A few days after America's great birthday. It was great to celebrate. We're here in the Senator Hearing Room at 555 Court Street. As always, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you'll join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Mr. Commissioner, I'll take a motion to remove item 6 from the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we remove item 6 from the agenda under Public Works. Consider approval of contract for services with RT Vision for the electronic construction management system replacement project.
All right, I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. And then we need to add an item to the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we add an item to the agenda under the Sheriff's Office to consider a resolution for the temporary closure of the Marion County Transition Center for reorganization to a stabilization center.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? We can have that later. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Those two items are done. We'll go to public comment, and I have Mark Wigg signed up with his beautiful flowers. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. These I'm bringing to you. As you guys know, Mark Wigg, I live in Marion County, Salem. And as you know, I show my appreciation with flowers, and you guys get a extra big bouquet because of, a partial list of why I'm grateful for what you've been doing. The Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Program that Marion County started is a leader for the state. Way to go. What you've done for Bridgeway, helping them expand services. Very good, thank you very much. The Center for Hope and Safety, getting them up to Woodburn. Really good. Thank you for helping people. And that's why you get the big bouquet.
Fantastic.
I'll put it over there or wherever it's out of the way.
Mark is a master gardener. I don't know if you know this, but
Well, you know,
These are all out of my yard, by the way.
I had to look twice because when I saw flowers, I thought former Commissioner Brentano was here bringing flowers. But those are, I don't know. You enter any into the Marion County Fair?
No, I haven't.
You should.
Right? Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, you can enter flower displays into the Marion
nobody
County.
else might ever win ever again
If Mark, and it's it begins at noon this Thursday, so you go online and take your bouquet over there.
And I'm tucking my pal Smokey in there to remind people again. Most of our fires are started by people. We did a pretty good job this July 4th.
Yeah.
That very few fires started.
Well, our CAO, Jan Fritz, and I were just looking at the Watch Duty app just before board session started and at the fires that are going on around. So thanks, Mark. Good to see you, as always. All right. That's finishes our public comment. Our first item today is a proclamation in the Sheriff's Office and Juvenile Department. And it is consider the proclamation designating the week of July 21st through the 27th as pretrial probation and parole and supervision week in Marion County. We have a couple of experts with us today. Well, one expert and another gentleman or something, whatever. Yeah.
Gentleman's a strong.
Yeah.
strong
Yeah.
word. Gentleman's a
And
strong
welcome.
word. He said.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Pull that microphone really close to you. Yeah, that one.
Like this? Okay.
I think it's on.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. Okay, for the record, I'm Lieutenant Anna Jefferson with the Sheriff's Office. And today I'm seeking the Commissioner's support for a proclamation to mark National Pretrial Probation and Parole Supervision Week from July 21st through July 27th, 2024. This year marks the 23rd annual celebration dedicated to honoring community corrections professionals with the Marion County Juvenile Department and our Sheriff's Office Community Corrections Division. Together in Marion County, we have over 250 dedicated employees to ensuring public safety and supporting re-entry and reintegration. We hope the commissioners will join us in recognizing these outstanding professionals by proclaiming this special week. Thank you.
Good morning, Troy Gregg, your Juvenile Director. I just want to say in particular, the amazing thing about Marion County, and we hear it so often, is how well we work and collaborate together. And I appreciate so much the opportunities that we have to partner with the Sheriff's Office here in town as well as our other local law enforcement agencies. The thing I want to point out this year in particular is it's been a very challenging year all around when it comes to especially violent crimes, gun-related violence, as we know, with regards to the report that's being done now in Marion County to feedback. I know that there's going to be very some similar trends, but I want to put out there just really the awareness of how much work and effort our parole probation staff do when it comes to maintaining, keeping our community safe, and then the challenges that we face with, in the juvenile department specifically, younger and younger kids being involved with criminal activities. And so I just want to truly acknowledge and say how proud I am to work for a department that focuses on the best interests of the child, understanding the victims and the impact of the community, as well as just strives forward despite the challenges to be as creative as we can to support. And so thank you so much for the opportunity to present this proclamation, and in 100% support of doing so.
Great. Well, thank you both. Thank you for all your people do out there. It's really important work. So
We had our Public Safety Coordinating Council meeting last night, and both of these fine people were there. And yeah, I felt really good coming out of that meeting. It just reminded me how much work everybody does together to keep our community safe. So I know this is just a little piece of that bigger pie, but it's an important piece. So thank you both for what you do.
when's your barbecue?
The week, it's a Thursday of that week. Is it
25th?
Yes.
Yep, that's it. Okay.
This is the week before, actually.
On a Thursday?
Yeah. It's at 18th, I think is ours.
Doesn't show up on mine. I'm not invited. Yeah, I know. You don't want me there.
We've been through this path before. So.
Yeah. Good. All right.
Imagine it'll get sorted out as soon as you walk out of this meeting. Would you like a motion, Mr.
That would be
Chair?
great.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a proclamation designating the week of July 21st through 27th, 2024 as pretrial probation and parole supervision week in Marion County.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, you want to start us off with reading the proclamation?
In the matter of proclaiming the week of July 21st through 27th, 2024 as pretrial probation and parole supervision week in Marion County, a proclamation. Whereas the Marion County Sheriff's Office, Community Corrections Division, and the Marion County Juvenile Department are an essential part of the Marion County criminal justice system. And whereas the community corrections professionals of Marion County play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of Marion County citizens. And whereas the community corrections professionals of Marion County recognize their duty to serve the people of Marion County by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by supervising and monitoring the activities of adult and juvenile offenders living in Marion County. And whereas the community corrections professionals in Marion County provide services and referrals for offenders and work in partnership with community agencies and groups, and
Whereas community correction professionals of Marion County promote prevention, intervention, and advocacy, and whereas the community correction professionals of Marion County provide services, support, and protection for victims, and whereas the community corrections professionals of Marion County embrace evidence-based practices, utilize effective practices in the community supervision model, and are a true factor for positive change. And whereas it is important that all Marion County citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their community correction professionals. Now, therefore, we, the Marion County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim July 21st through the 27th, 2024, as pretrial probation and parole supervision week in Marion County, and encourage all citizens to honor the community corrections professionals of Marion County and to recognize their achievements. Dated in Salem, Oregon, this 10th day of July, 2024.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Let's get a little photo.
Show us, you want to button your jacket?
Yes, I do. How did you know?
Okay, you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. You're working today. Yeah, it's always good to see you. I'm looking forward to that ride.
Yes, that would be nice.
I'll give you a full report.
Okay, sounds good.
The end of this month on Friday. We've been trying to do it for like 6 months. All right, that's a good one. And let me give this back to Brenda. That was our sign-up sheet for. All right, we're gonna move our consent calendar. Commissioner, if you would make that motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda. Under Human Resources, approve the recommendation to update classification and adjust pay grades upward for class code 007, elections and recording manager, 015, paralegal, 071, property coordinator, 085, budget analyst senior, 086, budget analyst 1, 087, budget analyst 2, 182, corrections nurse, LPN, and 559, occupational therapy specialist. Update the classification, uphold the pay grades for class code 024, payroll analyst, 030, payroll specialist, 509, nurse practitioner, 510, nurse practitioner, mental health, 511, public health nurse 2, 512, public health nurse 3, 531, behavioral health aide, 557, behavioral health nurse 1, and 558, behavioral health nurse 2.
I'll second the motion on the consent calendar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was like an action item.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, thank you. Good
Between
job.
these last two, there's been a lot of reading happening so far this board
Yeah.
session.
All right, first item under action, under human resources and reason to celebrate, getting some contracts done. Consider approval or ratification of the Marion County Employee Association MCEA collective bargaining agreement, effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioner. For the record, my name is Salvador Llerenas. I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer for Marion County. Here to request final approval for our bargaining agreement with Marion County Employees Association, MCEA, for the agreement for years 24-26. I'm going to give you highlights of the agreement. We have for COLAs, we have 4% in year 1 and 3% on year 2. Health insurance contributions to employees increased by $100 each of the bargaining years. Bereavement leave, we established a bank of 24 hours. We increased shift differential from 75 cents to $1.25. And we have a list of housekeeping items. It was a long bargaining season, and we are very appreciative of our employees and the two bargaining teams. And we're able to start the new fiscal year with a new contract. So Do you have any questions for me?
Just want to say congratulations. You did a lot of work, and congratulations to bargaining teams representing the unions too for getting this across the finish line.
Absolutely.
A lot of work done by everybody involved.
Jan?
I would agree. It's certainly a lot of work by the bargaining teams. You know, the employees did a great job working with HR and our team and the management team. Had 5 contracts to try and get done this year, starting in December through June. So 4 of them are completed, and we're hoping on getting the 5th one completed.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much. It's a lot of work, and I really appreciate the work everybody did. So thank you.
And I want to mention Angelique, our MC for all the contracts. She is the power behind all the different
She
tables.
keeps everything
Yes,
running,
yes.
yes.
Yes, yes.
And thank you, Salvador, for your leadership throughout the process as well. Thank you.
Yeah, great. I just want to say, I don't know how many employees would be watching us today, but the message is loud and clear that we really appreciate every one of our 1,700 employees plus that help serve the citizens of Marion County, and it truly is where it happens, is the boots on the ground. And I don't know that in my time here, Jan, that we've had this contract done before the fiscal year started. It seems like we're
It's been a long time.
It seems like we're always going retro, and it's really a good thing to get these. You said 4 out of the 5 are done, and we got one more we're going to approve right after this today. So we can take a motion unless there's any further discussion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the ratification of the Marion County Employee Association Collective Bargaining Agreement effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I think you're still up.
Yep.
We're going to consider approval of ratification of the Oregon Nurses Association Collective Bargaining Agreement, July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026.
Another example of collaboration with the bargaining unit, with the Oregon Nurses Association. Highlight for the contract, for the 2-year contract, COLAs 4% in year 1, 3% in year 2. Insurance contributions for from the county, $100 each of the bargaining years. We established a vacation cash out of 1 week of vacation after the employee accumulates 3 weeks of vacation on the books. We increased shift differential from 50 cents to $1. We increase standby compensation from $1.50 to $2.03, and callback pay increased to a minimum of 3 hours, and establish a bank of bereavement leave for 3 days for occurrence. And we did a lot of the cleanup in the contract, which we call housekeeping items, minor housekeeper items. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Salvador.
Any questions? Comments?
No, same thank you to you and your team, and to the team at ONA for getting this done.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just a clarification, Salvador, you said vacation payout when you accumulate 3 weeks.
Yes.
Is that one time a year you can take 1 week?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the ratification of the Oregon Nurses Association Collective Bargaining Agreement effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026.
And I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right.
And I'll just say thank you again to ONA, to the bargaining team. You know, it takes our management team, so Katrina and the health department, and Troy and his office, everybody has a part in it when we're bargaining. So, again, they did a great job, so did your team as well. And thank you, Angelique, for getting all the paperwork, getting all the minutes and the scheduling
Keeping us
that
on
it
track.
takes place over the last 6-7 months. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. One more to go.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know if we want to make a comment, Jan, about how do I want to say this?
Probably not.
Try not.
Yeah, well, I do want to say this, that the citizens of Marion County are very supportive when they write their property tax statements. And we are able to do this because to pass on to the employees, the citizens are actually paying our paychecks. And it's great that we can do this for our employees, and we want to thank the citizens as well of Marion County who write those property tax statements every year, checks every year, so that we can turn around and serve them in the way that we do, so.
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Chair, I've become much more informed as a property taxpayer in Marion County. And I would say sometimes I look at that list of jurisdictions I'm paying property taxes to, and not super happy with the service I'm getting. I can tell you that when I look at that Marion County line item, I'm pretty happy about that. I feel like I'm getting a lot of value for my money as a property taxpayer to Marion County, and it's because the folks who work here really do care, and they provide our community with a lot of service, and often they go above and beyond. So I feel good about writing that portion of my property tax check. Some of the other ones I'm not so sure about. I still have to see.
Well, you gotta see one of the ones I get. I've shown it to you. All right. Okay, well, that's great. All right, our next item is Public Works. Austin, there he is. Consider adopting an administrative ordinance amending the Marion County Comprehensive Plan by adopting 22.57 acre amendment for the city of Almsville urban growth boundary. Well, we've been here for public land and rezoning land. We've been here on this issue for a while. Austin, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Austin Barnes, Marion County Planning Department. So today we are finishing up adopting the ordinance of the City of Almsville Urban Growth Boundary Amendment. On October 23rd, 2023, the City of Almsville held a public hearing to consider a 22.57 acre amendment to its urban growth boundary for a new city park. And on November 2nd, 2023, the city submitted its adopting ordinance with a letter requesting the county concur in the expansion. On January 10th, 2024, the Marion County Board of Commissioners approved a resolution initiating amendments to the county comprehensive plan to consider concurring an amendment to the City of Almsville urban growth boundary and scheduled a public hearing for February 21st, 2024. The hearing was continued until June 5th, 2024 for further discussion. The board, after considering the evidence in the record, concurred in the city's amendment and directed staff to return with an ordinance consistent with their decision. On July 3rd, 2024, the board scheduled adoption of the ordinance for July 10th, 2024. Now the board must consider adopting the ordinance. The three options would be to adopt the ordinance as written, direct staff to come back with a modified ordinance, or choose not to adopt at this time. And I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Questions for Austin?
Nope. Thank you for doing this work. Thanks for being patient with us too. So we've made sure that the folks who are affected by this had a voice in this process.
Yeah, thanks to going back to the city of Almsville and doing the extra work to reach out to people. And this is just one step further along process that they have to put a park there. So congratulations to getting this done. Okay, take a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt an administrative ordinance amending the Marion County Comprehensive Plan by adopting a 22.57 acre amendment to the City of Almsville urban growth boundary for public land and rezoning land.
I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Austin, thank you for your work on this. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, so our next item is under the, I think this is our last item as well, is under the Sheriff's Office to consider approval. This is the item that we added at the beginning of the work session. Approval of a resolution for temporary closure of the Marion County Transition Center for reorganization into a stabilization center. Sheriff, welcome.
Morning, Commissioners. Morning, Jan. Morning, Mr. Legal Counsel. For the record, Nick Hunter, Marion County Sheriff. I am here this morning with looking for support and with my recommendation of a resolution that will involve the temporary closure of the transition center. Some history to where we're at and what brought us here this morning. So Many probably don't know, but within the Marion County Jail, there are multiple pods, and those multiple pods work to what the ultimate capacity of the jail is. And a couple of years ago, we're going on to the third year now, the commissioners were very supportive and provided the funding that would have allowed us to reopen G-Pod. Reopening of G-Pod, the way that it was supported, would do an increase of 55 beds or increase the jail capacity with the ability to hold 55 more offenders, adults in custody. And so that was, once that position was created, there began the process of trying to fill those positions. As you all know, and we've had multiple discussions, there's been difficulty in finding bodies and being able to fill those bodies to put them into the jail. Not without significant effort, not without significant recruitment, but unfortunately attrition has sometimes outrun us significantly in hiring. And so we have been unable to fulfill the staffing needs necessary to open that part of G-Pod. The commissioners have continued to be very supportive, continued to provide us with that funding, again, working towards finding those bodies, getting them hired, getting them trained, and then ultimately opening G-Pod. We have since looked at, and the Sheriff's Office, again, supported by the Commissioners, we've looked at some new methods of trying to change what is going on currently within hiring within law enforcement. We have contracted with a third party that is going to be coming in, and actually they're in process right now. We're about in the final stages of getting ready to roll that out, which is an entirely new recruitment plan. And ultimately, that is tailored around, again, finding new ways, being innovative, new initiatives to try and find personnel to come be part of this family and to come work for us. My problem as sheriff right now is that we've had this open for now over 2 years in this current status. And there are other effects that come from the low staffing at the jail. Part of that is that the folks that are currently working there, they are taxed. They are very, very busy. There is no time off. They are having to work overtime shifts. The jail earlier this year, and I know it hasn't been presented to the board yet, and it will be, so I'll just give that one out now. So the jail standards process went to an accreditation process. We were one of the first jails in Oregon to be accredited, and we did pass that process. Part of that accreditation involves the rules for the housing rules for those AICs. And part of that is their day room time or ability to be out of their confined environments in their cells. When staffing is low at the jail, unfortunately, we have to, at minimum staffing, lock down the jail. And what that means is that day room times or other things are affected by that. And so we have to find a better solution so that we are not affecting those things that are part of our accreditation. This gets us to kind of why we are here today, and we start talking about the Transition Center. And the Transition Center, right now, we have 12 positions that are corrections positions working at our Transition Center, which is under the auspice of Community Corrections. Those 12 corrections positions, there's 10 of them that are currently filled. I will say it like this: we can wait for change to occur, or we can make a change because we have an acute problem that we need to come up with a solution for. I'm here because we're making a change to an acute problem. And if we take those 10 corrections deputies that are at the Transition Center, we can put them into the current vacancies at the jail. When we put them into the current vacancies at the jail, that reduces our overall vacancies at the jail down to about 3 or 4. And what that allows us to do is then what we talked about a little over 2 years ago, which is open the jail back up, including G-Pod. It will provide a relief factor for the staff that are in there now, and it will allow us to increase that jail capacity by 55 beds. Why this is important to the community to understand this jail capacity of 55 beds and increasing. So at this point, the population of the jail over the years has changed. Right now in our jail, we have a lot of violent offenders in the jail. We are generally what is being held are persons crimes and those folks that would otherwise be a danger to the community. And with the current capacity, every day we are having to make very difficult decisions when someone needs to go into the jail. That often results in also someone having to come out of the jail. And there's a very complex matrix system about which individuals get moved and how they get moved. But increasing the jail capacity by 55 beds allows us not to have to make so many of these decisions. It allows us to hold more people accountable for their actions in their jail while they're part of the criminal justice system and part of the adjudication process to find final resolution. But it really puts us in a better place to keep our community safe, to also service our other partners, our several agencies that work here in Marion County. So there's several reasons that moving folks back into the jail is effective and the right answer right now, and time to make a change versus waiting. What happens then with the transition center as it is, and that is part of my recommendation, and that's that we're going to close down the transition center right now. The transition center has 144 beds. Currently, we are only utilizing 30 to 50 of those beds, and that is because of the current structure of the transition center and how it is utilized. How it is utilized is with our sentenced inmates. A change in the jail population. We have more pretrial inmates at this, or adults in custody at this time. And so we are only able to push about 30, maximum about 50 over to that transition center. And in my mind, it's being underutilized, and we are not the best using that resource to the best of our ability. So what I have asked and what we are planning to do is not only are we looking at fixing the jail, but we're also looking at a reutilization of the transition center itself. And part of that comes on the heels of many have watched and are aware of 4002 and how we are trying to address the addiction crisis. We are trying to absolutely address treatment first for those folks to try and improve livability. We cannot simply solve problems by putting someone in jail, because 3 days later when they come out, if you haven't addressed the root cause of why they're in jail, then they're probably going to go back to the same type of lifestyle or offending again. And what we want to do with the transition center and have this great opportunity is what we will do is re-envision the utilization. And as we re-envision that utilization, that will allow us to figure out how do we best utilize 144 beds. Again, this would allow us to increase jail capacity if we change some of how we are how we envision and how we utilize it to put certain pretrial detainees into the transition center, as well as having a very treatment-focused, bringing in treatment providers, working on what the true jail to a community transition looks like. These are all processes which we have constructed a team. The former undersheriff is going to be a big part of this team with his community corrections background to give us a new vision of what the transition center could be. And I will tell you, it will be the stabilization center, no longer the transition center, and a stabilization point for our community, that for our agencies, our community, everyone to benefit over how this changes the livability within Marion County. Timelines for that is I've asked for within 90 days. I would like to see what the plan looks for reutilization. And this is not a new thing. We have been working on this for several months. As you all know, we've been working on this prior to 4002 as well. But in 90 days, we're looking to have that new utilization plan to be able to then take that back to the Community Corrections Board for approval. And within 180 days, I would like to have what those positions are defined and ready to be put out for recruitment. And my goal here, and I know it is a big goal for my agency, but my goal is to, within 1 year, have the new stabilization center opened with 144 beds being utilized, or working towards scaling to that full capacity of 144 beds, and best serving the citizens of Marion County and the other agencies that we collaborate with. But what we can't get away from is to address the acute problem of the jail first. That is why I'm coming to you today asking for your support and my recommendation of this resolution of, in fact, closing the transition center. There are still functions that we have to do. Some of our pretrial, some of our boarding folks, we have to be able to still house in the transition center, and we will use it in a very limited capacity. But the primary goal will be the re-envisioning and reutilization and coming up with those plans, like I said, over the next 3, 6, and 9, and 12 months to get that back open to full capacity. I am happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
Questions?
I don't have questions. I've been spending a lot of time with the sheriff working on this.
Yes, we have.
I think maybe the only thing I would say is this is really important for our vision for successfully implementing House Bill 4002 and the recriminalization of drugs. That bill contemplates that we're not just going to pick people up and put them in the jail, but if people choose treatment, there's going to be a path and a place for them to get treatment. And some communities have said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to pick people up, and if they say they want treatment, we're going to drop them off in front of treatment centers. And I don't think that's the kind of accountability that folks here in Marion County expect. And I think having a stabilization center where folks who have committed crimes in our community can be held accountable and can get the services and treatment they need, I think is really what people want, what people want to see in our community. And so I really appreciate all the work that you and your team have done to implement this plan. I think sometimes folks watching may not know just how complicated running a jail and a transition center is, and parole and probation, and navigating the courts, and navigating the DA's office, and how many different folks have to come together just for you to sit here and announce to the world what you're going to do. There's a ton of detail that you've had to work out to get to this point. So thank you and your team for all the work that you've done to really meet our community's expectations, which is that we're going to hold people accountable with compassion.
Well, I want to say this, Sheriff, that you're a bold guy. And I think this is a very creative solution, but this is just the beginning, right? For us to take this action today, because in the next 90 days, you talked about a plan. I'm really excited to participate further in what that looks like. 180 days starting recruitment, and in 365 days, 144 beds being operated. There's a lot that has to go into that, including how we're going to pay for all this and all those things. But I think what I really appreciate is that you just announced to the public that you're committed to do this. And your team is obviously committed to do this. And we're committed to help you do that too. So I just really want to thank you for that. And the citizens of Marion County need to see change. And we know that things impacted us that were out of our control. Measure 110, for example.
Very much so.
And Commissioner Bethel and others worked really hard. You did. DA worked really hard on 4002. We've got an opportunity, and I just love the creativity that you just put out there in the public as a say, I'm raising my hand and we're going to go do this. So thank you for your leadership and being bold to be able to do that. And I'm looking forward to, I hope we can beat those dates because we know every day we see it that we need it. So, and then I know Jan's over here, she's already going, okay, how are we going to pay for all this? And we'll figure it out. So.
No, I appreciate that, Commissioner. I think it is worth noting, and you kind of alluded to it. This decision was not made in a vacuum.
Right.
DA Paige Clarkson had a big part in this. My undersheriff, who sits behind me, him and Brendan Murphy, the chief deputy DA, had a big part in this. This has been a very collaborative effort, and I very much appreciate the commissioners being willing to listen, being willing to look at this. The DA and I were just at a meeting before I came here, and the way that we want people to understand this is one, and Commissioner Willis just said it, it's about accountability. But about accountability, there has to be multiple pathways to accountability. There is no one answer to accountability, and we have to be open to that and what that looks like. And 4002 asked us to do something. It's just not acceptable for us here in Marion County. We've been doing something. It's time for us to do more.
Right.
And this is just one way that in collaboration, we can do more. And I believe that should be the citizens' expectations of us, and that is our own expectations of ourselves. And this is, as you put it, step one into doing more and looking constantly at how can we do better. This is where we're going. We are on the pathway of doing better.
And I think the bottom line that I just want to underline here for the public is when we implement this plan, it will mean more capacity in our jail,
Correct.
which means better public safety for our community. And that's really what we need right now. So thank you for putting this together and making that a reality.
Yeah. Okay, take a motion.
All right, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve a resolution for the temporary closure of the Marion County Transition Center for reorganization into a stabilization center.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Legal counsel, that's good. With motion approving the resolution,
Yes.
that's all we need today? Okay.
Okay.
No emergency clause on this one? Yeah,
Correct, it's a resolution.
Right.
So,
Okay.
unlike an ordinance.
yeah. All right.
Thank you,
Okay.
Sheriff.
Yes. Commissioner?
I just said thank you for sure.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Anything else you want to discuss? I think that takes care of all of our business. And no public hearing scheduled.
I don't have anything else.
Well, it was a good weekend. Sheriff, did you get an update? Do we have an update on how things went in the canyon at all?
I do not have a specific update on the
Yeah.
canyon. I can tell you about how great St. Paul was, but I do not have.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know I saw your video with the guys. Yesterday, we had a work session with our parks. Share a little bit about that. And it'll be interesting to see how enforcement up there went in the Little North Fork specifically. And I just wanted to say thank you to Kevin and Brian and the Parks team, Ryan and Brian and Kevin. And Jan, you weren't in there, but they adopted this new what would you call it? Computer ticket system. So we get this up-to-date information on how many people were in the Little North Fork that bought these parking passes. And it's not about the money so much, but the accountability and to be able to track that. I mean, they can actually tell you how many people bought permits. Your guys could probably tell us how many tickets they wrote. So the difference between the permits and the tickets is telling us how many cars potentially, they're not ticketing everybody, but how many cars were really up there. The one thing I thought about during that meeting, I didn't go into it, but I remember that the Forest Service had, what do you call it, trip monitors you put across the road to count cars. And I thought that would be an interesting, you know that some people are driving up there and they live up there, so it wouldn't be the exact number, but we're getting some good data. And I just wanted to say thank you to Public Works and our Parks Department for a little presentation we got yesterday about that, so.
Yeah, the parking pass system seems to be really good. And it's easy, and there's these kiosks, you can use your credit card, and it seems to be something that folks are doing, and it's working, and so, yeah.
He got one email that we were discriminating because somebody wanted to pay cash or something, so.
Out of 4,000 or something.
Yeah, so.
No, it sounds like it's been a very popular thing up there, so.
Yeah, okay. I just thought that was really a positive thing that we learned yesterday for what they were doing, so. Nothing else?
No, sir.
All right, we will adjourn.